So Kamaru Usman recently fought at UFC 268 and looked as dominant as usual against Colby Covington. Arguably his toughest competition in the welterweight division and the only guy who has probably one of the best chances to beat Kamaru Usman at his own game with his wrestling background, his striking pedigree. He's a great all-around fighter. He's tough as shit and he can hang in there with the best, like Kamaru Usman, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. But that raises the question, after he just dismantled Colby Covington in the rematch, he already wiped out this whole division. That means who's next? Who's next for this guy? Who's going to beat this guy? I'll tell you who's going to fight him and who's going to give him the toughest matchup of his life. And you're probably going to be upset because this guy's 4 fights in the UFC and he's only gotten punched once in the face. And if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, in case you're living under a rock the past couple weeks, it's Khamzat Chimaev. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why Kamaru Usman needs to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Not should, not want, he needs to fight this guy. First and foremost, Khamzat Chimaev is the hottest prospect in the UFC right now. I don't even know if you're allowed to call him a prospect at this point. After his last fight against Li Jingliang, I think that's his name. I don't even remember his name. It doesn't even matter because he was ranked 11th in the world and he mauled him. Didn't get punched in the face. Now listen, Kamaru Usman, he's already beaten everyone in the division. He's going on a victory lap right now, beating everyone again. And as fans, we don't want to see that shit. The toughest matchup for Kamaru Usman right now, that's an actual ranked guy, a high-ranked top 5 opponent, would be Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque is one of my favorite fighters to watch of all time. He's exciting. He has amazing striking. He has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a great ground game. All of this and that, whatever the case may be with this guy. Vicente Luque, no doubt, should get the next title shot against Kamaru Usman. And I know you guys are going to say, what about Leon Edwards? Leon Edwards deserves that title shot, 8-fight win streak or whatever it is. If he beats Jorge Masvidal, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to see it. He already beat Leon. What's he going to do against Leon? You think he's going to have a kickboxing against a striker, against a great striker like Leon Edwards? Are you nuts? Usman's just going to take him down. He's going to dirty box him against the fence. He's going to hold him against the cage, gas him out, take him down, probably TKO him or strangle him on the ground, or it might be a Marty Fake Snoozman snooze fest for 5 rounds. I wouldn't blame him if that means getting the belt back and making more pay-per-view money. That's all that matters at the end of the day, is making the most money. And what the perfect transition when it comes to making the most money? It's fighting an elite guy who everyone cares about, who has all the attention in the world, in the MMA world. I do know what I'm saying when it comes to this. Kamaru Usman needs to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev possesses everything that Kamaru Usman needs an opponent to have an exciting match and a tough match that will risk him losing his title. Khamzat Chimaev, guys. Khamzat Chimaev is insane. He might be actually insane. I think if the UFC said, we're not going to pay you anymore, you have to pay us to fight in the UFC, Khamzat wouldn't give a shit. He would still fight in the UFC. He would not care. This guy loves to fight. I've talked about it in my last video. Khamzat Chimaev is different. He has a different mindset. Reminds me of Habib, but it's different. It's completely different. I think in a sense, he's more charismatic. No offense to all the Habib fans. I love Habib. You guys know that. But Khamzat Chimaev, man, he's different. And especially in that welterweight division where it's kind of a little stagnant right now at this point. Like going back to the Kamaru Usman Leon Edwards fight, I don't want to see that, to be honest. Like Kamaru Usman already beat him, and I think he would beat him with ease. Again, maybe even easier because his striking has gone so much better. Look at how much better Kamaru Usman has gone since transitioning to Trevor Whitman with the few fights he's had with Trevor Whitman in his corner. And Trevor Whitman wasn't even in his corner. He probably didn't even know who Trevor Whitman was when he fought Leon Edwards back in the day. And he dismantled Leon Edwards to a 3-round decision. What do you think he would do in a 5-round fight against Leon Edwards nowadays? Leon Edwards hasn't been too active. He's fought him a couple times. He got wobbled against Nate Diaz with 1 minute left in their fight, which is the worst thing that could ever happen to Leon Edwards. Because what would happen if Kamaru Usman lands his piston-like right hand on Leon Edwards' chin? Leon Edwards is going to the shadow run with Jorge Masvidal. That's what's going to happen. I'll tell you that right now. And Nate Diaz wobbling him is a horrible look for Leon because Nate Diaz is not known to have knockout power. Let me ask you a question. When have you ever watched a Nate Diaz fight thinking Nate Diaz is going to one-punch KO his opponent? It doesn't happen. And Leon Edwards getting wobbled by Nate Diaz does not look good for him for getting the next title shot. I know he dominated Nate Diaz. Don't get me wrong. It was a great fight. I loved it. But Leon Edwards, he's an amazing fighter. I know that, but I don't want to see that fight. Just let's see what happens with Jorge Masvidal. And if Jorge Masvidal wins, what a shit show this is going to be for the division. What happens after that? And let me tell you this right now. Listen, I know Kamaru Usman has been very active lately. He's been defending the belt. He's getting some highlight reel KOs and stoppages inside the ring, which is amazing to see. I love him. He's the best pound for pound fighter in the world for a reason. Kamaru Usman, I don't know why he didn't call out Khamzat Chimaev. This guy, after beating Gilbert Burns, calls out Jorge Masvidal for that rematch. Jorge Masvidal didn't really deserve that rematch. Let's be real. This guy had a built-in excuse, like Kamaru Usman said, whatever. I didn't want to see that fight. The only reason he called out Jorge Masvidal is the money. It's the money. It's a good business move. And what's a good business move after this last fight? Calling out Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev, skyrocketing with social media right now. He's making 50K bonuses. He's enthusiastic. He's everything you want in a UFC star. And Kamaru Usman didn't call him out. I get it. He wants to spend time with his daughter. I love that. Absolutely. But you have to always be thinking about the marketing aspect behind this. The marketing behind your brand, your personal brand as a fighter is one of the most important things you have to be focused on. Even right after a 5-round war with Colby Covington. But man, imagine if Kamaru Usman called out Khamzat Chimaev, the buzz that would have created. Even if the UFC is not going to make that fight, it's just great for future publicity. It creates a lot of buzz in the MMA world, and that means more money, more eyes on you, more pay-per-view buys at the end of the day. That's how the business works. Even though that Dana White said that Khamzat Chimaev, he needs a win over a top 5 guy, I'm kind of shocked that Dana White said no. That's kind of surprising to me. That's very surprising to me, actually, because Dana White's done some crazy shit. This guy's planning to have Hasbulla fight in the UFC, and you think that's not crazy? You think Khamzat Chimaev fighting for a title after 4 dominant wins, getting punched once in the face? Do you think him getting a title shot after this crazy run is more crazy than Hasbulla fighting in the UFC? Are you nuts? That makes no sense at all. At the end of the day, whoever Kamaru Usman wants next, he will get. He proved it after beating Gilbert Burns and calling out Jorge Masvidal. When he called out Jorge Masvidal, when I was watching that live, I was genuinely surprised. But when I thought about it, when I thought about the business behind it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. After this last fight, I was shocked that he didn't call out Khamzat Chimaev. Why wouldn't he? That makes no sense to me. It feels like a big, not even a swing and a miss, because he didn't swing at all. It just feels like a big missed opportunity for a lot of eyes on Kamaru Usman. Even though he has all the eyes in the world right now, it could have been at another level, a whole nother level. Another important thing to note at the end of the day, Kamaru Usman, he's not going up in weight. He refuses to fight Israel Adesanya unless the $100 million is going to be offered. 50-50 split between Izzy and Usman. That's definitely not going to happen. We all know that, which I love that. I respect it. I respect it the most, but he's not even a teammate for Kamaru Usman. And think about that matchup. That matchup would be crazy. I'm just putting it out there. That's probably the most exciting clash of styles in all of MMA right now. But at the end of the day, in reality right now, it's rumored that Khamzat Chimaev will be fighting Gilbert Burns in December on a UFC pay-per-view card. I don't know how this is going to go, but you guys can let me know. You can comment down below what you think, who you want to see Kamaru Usman fight next, what's next for Khamzat Chimaev, you know, the whole ordeal. And if you haven't watched my last video on Khamzat Chimaev, you should click right here and check it out. It's a great video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I love you all. Have a great day.